Hey guys, Dr. Will here from Miami Spine and Performance. If you're a runner and you're feeling like you're not strong enough to do long runs or feeling shin pain and hip pain, I got a couple exercises for you that are really going to help you out. So here at Miami Spine and Performance in Hollywood, I work with a ton of runners. There's a great running community in Hollywood. One of the biggest issues I hear from runners is that they have kind of nagging overuse injuries. And so in addition to treatment, what I always recommend to them is that they do exercises to strengthen their hips, strengthen their pelvis, and strengthen their legs so that you can go out and you can put in 5, 10, even 20 miles and your legs aren't going to fall apart on you. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of the exercises that I use here in the clinic, and as long as you're healthy, these are great ones you can do at home. So the first exercise that I typically will do with patients is I'll do the hip cars. And so with this exercise, what we're looking to do is we're looking to take the hip through a full range of motion, right? Even though in running, we're just kind of keeping the hip swaying side to side, it's important for the health, the overall health of the hip, that we have good range of motion. So for this exercise, we're going to get in all fours, okay? And we're going to try to keep our lower back nice and flat throughout the duration of the exercise. I'm going to work on my right leg first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly bring my knee up, out, and around, like so. So we're just making a small circle with the hip here, just like this. And what you can see is I'm being really, really strict. So I'm not swinging my hips around. I'm not moving my pelvis. I'm just trying to move that hip joint just like so. So my glutes are firing, hamstrings are firing. I'm even using my calf and my shin just to kind of keep my leg locked in. I'm going to rotate the hip all the way around. Some of you might feel some cramping here. That's okay. Just take a few seconds off. That's just your body trying to figure out the exercise. I'll do the same thing here. I'll do a rep or two with the left hip. And you'll probably notice one hip will be a little bit tighter or a little bit looser than the other. That's totally normal. We're asymmetrical beings. And up and out and around. You really should be feeling the glute and the hamstring here. That's how you're going to keep the low back safe. Okay guys, so that's the hip car. This is a great one you can do first thing in the morning, pre-run, post-run, or on your off day. So it's a great way to warm up the hip. And again, it's all about just keeping your hips nice and healthy, nice and loose. So the second exercise is a PSOAS march. Okay, so the PSOAS is the muscle on the front of the hip here. And obviously, while we're running, we're flexing and extending our hips. So it's really important that we have strong hip flexors so that we can run long distances. And if you're somebody that likes to run quickly or sprint, this is even better for you. So for this one, I'm going to just lie on my back. All you need here is a small TheraBand or a small glute band. I'm going to put it around the toes, and I'm going to lay nice and long like so, okay? Now, there's two variations here. One, you can just keep both legs on the table, and I'm just going to march straight up like this, alternating legs. So I have my toe flexed, I have my knee flexed, and my hip flexed. This is called triple flexion. Okay, and I'm just alternating. I'm keeping my abs engaged so I'm not rotating. And you should be feeling the muscles on the front of your hips. If you want to add a little bit of difficulty, you can keep your legs elevated like so. So now we're getting a little more abdominal there, okay? So that's number 2, guys. That's the PSOAS march. That's for the hip flexors. Number 3 exercise that I recommend, you're going to need a foam roller for this one. So most people know the typical glute bridge exercise, but with running, we actually want to activate the hamstring, right? Now the glute's going to be working a little bit, but because we're not extending, typically we don't run like this, we're just kind of running like this, we need to make sure that we get the hamstring and particularly the high hamstring going. One of the most common injuries in running and particularly sprinting is that high hamstring tear. So we need to make sure we're nice and strong and we know how to feel our hamstring. So I'm going to lie on my back here. I'm going to put my feet on the foam roller like so. And now for this type of bridge specifically, we don't want our heels close to our butt. So the further away our feet are from our butt, the more we're going to get hamstring. From here, I'm going to go ahead and push down into the foam roller until I feel my hamstrings activate. And then I'm just going to simply rise my hips all the way up. And you should feel hamstrings are on fire right now. And I'm going to slowly come down. And again, I have my feet away from me. I kind of have the middle of my foot or the arch of my foot on the foam roller. And I'm going to slowly lift my hips all the way up, just like so. And slowly bring them down. Last time, before I lift my hips up, I'm going to push down into the foam roller, really activate those hamstrings. And I'm going to lift all the way up and come down. Okay, guys, so this is definitely one that may or may not cause a little bit of cramping, especially if you haven't done a lot of hamstring work. Again, that's okay. The closer you bring your feet to your butt, the easier the exercise is going to be. So for those of you that are really ambitious and want to get after it, go ahead and bring that foam roller a little bit further away. The straighter your leg is and pushing those hips up, the more you're going to feel that upper hamstring screaming. So the last exercise, you're going to need some type of weight for this one. So here in the office, I use kettlebells. You could certainly use a dumbbell, or if you're at home, you could use a paint can or whatever you have that you could put some weight in. Okay, and you're going to need a surface to step up to. So typically, I would recommend people are using a bench or an exercise bench. But again, if you have something around your house you can step onto, just make sure that it's stable. Obviously, we're stepping up with weight here. Okay, we're going to do a weighted step up with a kettlebell in one arm, okay? The reason why I like kettlebell in one arm is because now I'm having to use my obliques and use my abdominals to support that. Whereas if I had equal weight in both arms, they kind of even themselves out, right? So I wouldn't be getting the same level of abdominal activity. It'd be more relying on my grip and my shoulders, okay? So from here, I'm going to find my surface, and I'm just going to step straight up and slowly step down. Step up. And slowly step down. And again, you're getting the dual benefit here of activating the obliques and the abdominals with the kettlebell. And of course, you're getting quads, glutes, and hamstrings from the step up. And if you're a gym goer, this is a great exercise to build quads. And if you're any type of athlete, it's a great functional movement for athletes. So you can switch sides here, same thing. Step up and really try to control the way down. Watch the way your knee's tracking, right? We don't want the knee buckling in. We don't want to be falling on the outside of our foot. We just want to stay nice and even over the center of that foot, up and down. Nice and slow. All right, guys. So those are 4 exercises. If you're a runner out there, or if you're somebody that just wants to start to get into strength training and feeling athletic, these are 4 movements that I prescribe with patients very often. The first one is the hip car, where we're moving through the hip range of motion. The second one, we have the PSOAS march, where we're alternating with the bands. Third one, we have a hamstring bridge off the foam roller. And the last one is the unilateral step up. So a lot of times when I'm working with athletes or working with patients that are in pain, we're trying to figure out creative ways to activate those muscles that sometimes get neglected, right? Everybody knows how to activate their quads and activate their glutes, but not everyone knows how to find high hamstrings, hip flexors, obliques, and things like that. So that's one of the things we do in our office here in treatment, and for those of you that receive remote programming for me. So always looking for creative ways to strengthen the body. So go ahead and drop us a DM, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and follow, and thanks for watching.